I'm here at Mandarin Gallery along Singapore's all-famous Orchard Road, and today we are headed to IPPUDO in search of the best ramen in Singapore. New series, baby! I am super excited for this series. I don't think it's any exaggeration to say that ramen is the best soup noodle dish in the world. No one else on the planet has given as much thought and effort as the Japanese have towards their iconic dish. And we are starting the series with the world-famous IPPUDO. Despite its fame, IPPUDO is actually kinda young. It first opened its doors in Hakata, Fukuoka in 1985. Back then, ramen was not in as good a place as it is now. Ramen shops were dirty and smelly, run by ramen chefs with fierce scowls on their face. Japanese women were hesitant to enter such shops, and the younger people did not want to enter such a trade. Wait, where have I heard a similar story before? That is when IPPUDO founder Shigemi Kawahara-san came up with his shop. IPPUDO, or One Wind Hall, was titled in order to, and I quote, change the image and give it a breath of fresh air, it being the local ramen scene. And how the turntables. Today, ramen shops are beautiful and an integral part of Japanese culture. Ramen chefs are regarded as prestigious artisans, and what was a small stall in Hakata, Fukuoka, now has over 200 outlets all around the world. Let's get it, guys. One. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay, thank you. IPPUDO is known for their Tonkotsu, and there seems to be 5 types of ramen here, 4 of which are variation of Tonkotsu, either like mixing in some shoyu, miso paste, or whatnot, and 1 chicken shoyu special. This is a good time to mention, new series, new rules. We are not restricting the series to any one type of ramen, not even udon or sukemen. I'm going to go to each ramen restaurant and order the most obvious, most recommended choices. I might try 1, 2 or 3 bowls of ramen, I don't know yet, but if I do, I'll only take the rating of the best tasting bowl. So please, I'm once again asking for your food recommendations. Drop your ramen spots in the comments below while we wait for the ramen to come. That came really fast, like 4 minutes or something like that. Ridiculously fast. Let's get it. It's always fun eating a tonkotsu. That creamy porky flavour always seems to land. And you might have noticed that I went with a slurp first before having a spoonful of the broth, because I argue that that's the correct way to eat ramen. Anybody, okay, not anybody, but a lot of places are capable of making good soups. There's nothing exclusive to ramen, but the slurp of noodles, that rush up, that inhale that brings all the flavour, is something that I really look forward to in ramen. And one of the key factors in making that happen is how much fat is in the broth. The reason why ramen broth is so delicious is because of how much flavour compounds they can squeeze inside it. Even looking at the soup right now, looking at the surface of it, you can see that there's like some cloudy, floaty thing. All those are broken down fat and gelatin, and that is crucial to ramen because it helps adhere the flavour to the noodles. And it's also something that I'll be looking out for in the later bowls of ramens in the series. There is nothing unexpected. From the broth to the noodles to the meat to the egg, I cannot say that there's something that might identify this from as a IPPUDO's tonkotsu. Also, I know that usually there's a lot of fuss about the ramen egg, and it is very pretty, but honestly it's just an egg. You'll be able to find like 30 ramen egg recipes with a simple Google search, of which 28 of them will work. But yeah, coming back to the point, it is still delicious, but I am very confident that I will not be able to identify this in a blind taste test of different tonkotsus. So let's move on. Thank you, thank you. It's really fast. Their ramen comes so fast. Next up, we have their Bonito Tonkotsu. Ooh. So this time it's a blend of fish and pork broth. Served with yuzu kosho. Yuzu kosho is a Japanese citrus pepper paste. You can think of it as Japanese sambal. It's a stretch, but it's the same idea. Instead of it being like sweet and spicy like sambal, yuzu kosho is salty and sour. It's very nice to cook with. Anyway, our next ramen. So it's important to see how the broth clings onto the noodles. Again, let's try the slurp. And now the yuzu kosho. What? This is way better. You still get the creamy, fatty goodness you would expect of a tonkotsu, but now it's layered with bonito. Bonito are dried fish flakes that the Japanese always use because it imparts so much flavor. But not just the amount of flavor, there's this very distinct umami about it. And that umami just sits so nicely on top of the tonkotsu. This is yet another thing that I'm really excited about for this series. How the ramen broth is layered in order to deliver different kinds of flavors. It's quite common for master ramen chefs to have like 9, 12, 15 ingredients in their broth, not including the tare. Second hit, the yuzu kosho works so well here. Amongst all that fatty and fishy flavors, you have this pop of acidity and a touch of spiciness really brightens the whole palate. It reminds me of the moment where you have like nasi ayam penyet and there's that touch of sambal belacan on top of white rice. Except when you have it on white rice, it's on no flavor. Whereas here it actually helps cut fattiness and fishiness. Really delicious. Maybe the char siu is a bit overdone because while I was trying to find the char siu to pick it up for the camera, it broke. Yes, you want it to be tender, yes, you want it to melt in your mouth, but it should still hold shape. Also, this is a personal preference thing, and this goes the same for the previous bowl. I don't get to see that uniform noodle spread you see on most ramen. Normally when they are plating ramen, the chef will hold the ramen up and sort of tidy it a bit before laying it down. And that pattern floating on top of the broth is something that I really enjoy, but it's not here in these noodles. Alright, let's get the bill, digest, think about it a little bit, and I'll see you guys soon. Recap. Decent tonkotsu, nothing to grab about, except maybe being $22.45 for basic tonkotsu, a little bit on the high side. On one hand, I know the cost of the ingredients of a tonkotsu ramen is not that high. The markup is quite a lot, even accounting for like profit margins and everything. I mean, Michelin star ramen in Tokyo goes for half the price. Half. On the other hand, you cannot really hate it when people cook you a proper tonkotsu, because it takes a lot of time to really extract the flavor from the bones and break down the collagen in order to get that signature tonkotsu texture and depth of flavor that you cannot get in any cup noodles or instant noodles or cheap franchise ramens. The more interesting bowl is the second one, layering the bonito on top of the tonkotsu and then letting it pop with the yuzu kosho. The resulting flavor was very, very interesting. And ramens like the Bonito Tonkotsu is what I'll be looking for this series. The more special signature flavors. Because if you have a tonkotsu each, you can go to any other shopping mall ramen and scratch 70% of it. I want a flavor that will make me long for it. 1 noodle I'll walk for the ramen, 2 noodles I'll take a bus for the ramen, and 3 noodles I'll go anywhere in Singapore for the ramen. And IPPUDO gets 2 noodles. I think the world of ramen is way bigger than I imagine it to be. And I'm gonna gamba that the ramens that we are gonna have later are going to be even better. Again, this is referencing the better of the 2 bowls, which I think is the Bonito Tonkotsu. You get a really nice bonito flavor, you get all the creamy bassy notes of tonkotsu, and you get that pop from yuzu kosho. I am not sure whether the char siu breaking apart like this is intended, but I don't appreciate it. You cannot melt in your mouth if it doesn't get into your mouth. My early thoughts in the series is that ramen is way more than tonkotsu or shio or any basic ramens. The layering and flavor interaction is something that I'll really look forward to. And that's all I have for you guys this time. Again, please leave me your ramen recommendations. I'll really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!